Oh, hang on a second. I just forgot I ate some caramels here. Man, they are such warm, chewy caramels. I just thought, oh, crud, I can't talk with these caramels in my mouth, so I needed a sip of tea. All right. Okay, grief. We're keeping it. We're doing it live. Sonic the Hedgehog, Battle for Angel Island. This is part 3 of whatever this story arc is from IDW Comics. Put the title of the series on the front of the book, IDW Comics. But now that I finished Volume 3, this is the close of a story arc, and now I can say of the entire story arc, fantastic. These are perfect comics. Now, if you haven't seen one of my comic reviews from a while, you should know that there's a difference between something being a perfect comic and something being a highest recommendation. Highest recommendation means I think everybody should read it. A perfect comic is something that is written and drawn at such a level of quality that there's no nitpicking. It does exactly what a good comic book is supposed to do. It's fun. Give it to the kid on the drive over to grandma's house, right? That kind of thing. The reason I wouldn't say this is a highest recommendation is I think you do kind of have to like Sonic and kind of get the characters to follow it. But if you do, there's lots of great fan service. Like I like how they bring things out of the obscure, like side games, like the extreme gears out of like that Sonic snowboarding game. Like if you're a Super Sonic fan, there's a lot of great fan service here for you. They do some really interesting like thinking strategically about the characters' powers, which is kind of neat because a lot of times in kids media the characters, they just have superpowers, but nobody says, hey, we should send this guy here to do this, we should send this guy here to do this. And the superpower transformations, we gotta save that for like the most critical point of the enemy's structure, right? Like they do some great like strategy stuff. Do I have any? I like what they did with Tangle. I don't like Whisper as much so far. I feel like the reason Tangle feels like she belongs in the team is she's introduced as being kind of like a fangirl to Sonic and the crew, right? So she kind of understands that she's the newbie, they're the experienced ones, and then she starts using her power to complement their powers in a really neat way. So it feels like, oh yeah, she's part of the team. They can use her to like do these cool combo spin jump attacks and move around, right? So she's not a woke character who's more special than everybody. She feels really cool as a secondary character because she's introduced into the world very naturally and starts helping out the team in a way where she feels like she fits. Whisper, I feel like I don't really get her yet. She still feels a bit like a DeviantArt OC, but she's got a cool name, and I like that. I like that she has a sniper skill set because Shadow the Hedgehog has kind of introduced the idea of guns exist in this world. So yeah, it's fine. Let's have a cool sniper girl. So I am going to keep reading. Only quibble is they didn't seem to use Cream the Rabbit that much. Like they've got Cream the Rabbit and a Merle on the cover, but bring him into the story a little bit more. Anyway, but yeah, perfect comic means this is so much fun. And even if you aren't the biggest Sonic fan, like I've probably played like 6 Sonic games out of the 30, and I understood the things that I hadn't played because they're doing really good conveyance. So hopping in, let's take a look at some beautiful cover art. The front cover, by the way, is of course by our senpai Nathalie Fordain. This one with Hyper Metal Sonic is by Lamar Wells and Adam Bryce Thomas. I love this concept of a reflection on the villains. You do get to see the two main bro protagonists on the front and the cool like defeat of like neither of them were strong enough to oppose him. So I guess spoilers. There's some neat like moments where they do things with the Sonic mythos in this that are cool if you kind of get the Sonic mythos. So Neo Metal Sonic is like the ultimate final form of Hyper Metal Sonic, except like Frieza, he has his final form and his final form, right? So one of the cool things, like, when Sonic gets the Chaos Emeralds, he becomes Super Sonic and his hair's all Goku-y, right? Like, clearly, like, more than a little inspiration from Dragon Ball Z. So, they give a super transformation to Hyper Metal Sonic, and this feels so dope because now Sonic and Knuckles are basically ants in his presence, right? They've got these superpowers, but Knuckles is too slow, and Sonic's speed is the only thing that's keeping him from getting like wiped off the face of the earth in a second. So that's great. They are at a disadvantage to the supervillain. I kind of like the vibe of Sonic's speed being his only like asset that's keeping him alive. This is a great cover. Tracy Yardley, victory is within his grasp, but together we can win. That's a great concept. I would so collect that variant cover, even like a nice little kind of like halftone texture effect on the different where color transitions. Art by Bryce Thomas, kind of like the whole cast. So I guess one of the points of this is the Sonic expanded cast is kind of a mixed bag. Like people who like Sonic and the core Sonic games, from the 90s, maybe aren't as down with 80 characters coming into Sonic games. I was kind of more of I played the old platformer games with my big brother, but kind of like my generation of Sonic was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So I kind of like his expanded cast. I wish they could get the Archie cast in here. I know that'll never happen. I can dream, can't I? But anyway, I do like Sonic having bros and buddies around him, especially in stories. And what's great about this is they're using the expanded cast really, really well. And for the most part, like even though I've dunked on Whisper a little bit, when they introduce a new character, they're not annoying. They're just kind of like experimenting and trying out some new characters. And I think it's working really well so far. So Neo Metal Sonic toys with them. I like seeing the main characters getting their asses kicked. That's great. Looking at the cover, Tracy Yardley, another so this would spoil it, right? Because you'd see the yellow and you'd say, "Oh wow, Metal Sonic got a super transformation. It's so cool." What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so some of the strategy, like Blaze the Cat has kind of her own alternate dimension version of a super transformation, and they kind of make the point that Metal Sonic can copy abilities. So if we send our most powerful character after him, maybe she could beat him, but what if he copies her powers and he becomes super ultra powerful, right? So there's some great strategic thinking too, where it's sort of he's a little bit like a Mazo. Sonic has, I think, taken inspiration from a few different franchises, including Mickey Mouse and the Animal franchise characters. Where one of the reasons I think it's so infamously everybody has a Sonic OC, and it basically captured a whole generation's attention. Is it's the funny animal character genre, but it's also the adventure character genre. It mashed up into kind of a semi-serious thing. You can take it semi-seriously, right? It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not all grim and edgy and grimdark, but it does have a flair of adult seriousness. Metal Sonic wants to take over the world. We've got art here by Jonathan Gray and Matt Herms. This is interesting because it's focusing on the villain, Metal Sonic, where Sonic is given some priority over the secondary characters. I kind of like the motif of a symmetrical design with a bar for other characters that will appear. I always feel like the main character should get some top billing somewhere, though, even if you are making the villain a highlight of the cover. I don't know, maybe he's captured by Metal Sonic in front of him, so Sonic's a little bit more front and center. I don't know, but I do like the build up of normal to super mode to super duper overlord. But okay, one of the other things is that Spider-Man, Sonic the Hedgehog has this quippy sense of humor. And people have assumed that, that means he says stupid jokes all the time. No. The point of having a quippy sense of humor is to get in your opponent's head. And I like they kind of dumb it down and explain to the kid, I need to get Metal Sonic mad. Sonic comes up with that, and then he starts roasting Metal Sonic and getting him to flare up his temper, right? That's it. What's neat about that is then the little quippy jokes aren't just there to make you groan, dad jokes. They're there because the character is weak. They're at a disadvantage. So fast talking is their way of using. They're using that as a weapon to get in the opponent's head. I love that. Is this do you know the way? I will show you the way. Is that on purpose? I think it's on purpose. I see what you guys are doing. Okay, this cover, art by Lamar Wells and Adam Bryce Thomas. I'm not sure what this was supposed to represent, actually. Was this supposed to represent Metal Sonic or one of the other characters? Because it really just sets up the next issue. Art by Evan Stanley and Matt Herms. They also kind of do the bit do you kill your opponents? And the Sonic characters are kids characters, they're G-rated characters, they don't kill their opponents, but they basically disarm Metal Sonic and give him the freedom to decide where he wants to go. And Sonic has the line, we're compassionate, not stupid. And I like that, because if they keep letting the bad guys go and the bad guys keep coming back to kill people, you start to feel like these heroes are stupid and deserve to die, right? So I like that they're showing them being compassionate, but actually taking precautions to stop the bad guys from continuing to plague them. Rough and Tumble show up, and Rough and Tumble just crack me up because they do the Jesse and James shtick. And they introduce Dr. Starling, and I guess Dr. Starling's shtick is that he's an Eggman fanboy, and he wants to apprentice under Eggman. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's interesting that there's an animal character who is this enamored with Dr. Eggman because we don't see something like that too often. He talks about how he's invented a gemstone that, unlike a Chaos Emerald, it's a gemstone with great powers. But unlike a Chaos Emerald, it operates under certain logical laws of physics, whereas the Chaos Emeralds basically can ignore the laws of physics and the laws of reality if they want. That's kind of interesting. I like that Eggman just sort of like appreciates like use. It's interesting that Eggman's finally going to have like a competent servant essentially. This version of Eggman, he's got a little bit of comedic edge to Eggman. I feel like depending on the version of the character, he can change. I've always felt like the Sonic X and video game version of the character, he's a good guy who just happens to be a genius, who just happens to be an idiot, who wants to take over the world, right? Like, there's a good guy inside this version of Eggman, but then Starling kind of, like, gets him to regain his memory, and he goes back to being the nasty old bugger, megalomaniac, like he's always been. So that's the setup for the next thing. The heroes have their day. The bonus characters get their little moment. Oh, yeah, concept art. So, Dr. Starling by Evan Stanley. Well, and then, of course, Natalie Bourdain, Senpai! Natalie Bourdain, Senpai! Was that the last one? That's the last one. All right. It's a perfect comic. You don't have to be like a supersonic nerd to enjoy it. It would help to know some of the other characters and some of the little references and things, but bad guy's gonna take over the world. We gotta be a team and use all our powers together to stop the bad guy. Bro moments, ultimate bro moments of like Tails and Sonic's being the best bros ever. I love it. Number one Marmaduke fan, the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I'll be buying more. Let me know of other Sonic comics you think I should read. I do want to go back and read the Archie comics, so maybe I'll try to dig into some of those next. With that, I love you guys. Catch you later.